Thanks for tuning in to episode 29. This is your host, Sonia, on my podcast series, Sonia Space. And for those of you that are new to my podcast, first of all, thank you so much for listening in and supporting me. And I really hope you enjoy my podcast series. And two, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I do sneak peeks and basically have all types of content related to my podcast and my life on Instagram, Sonia Space Podcast, to stay updated and tuned on upcoming episodes. Also, happy almost spring. We had South by Southwest this past week. It's usually an indicator of spring in Austin. I think spring starts on the 20th. And also, Ramadan Mubarak. Happy Ramadan to everyone that is currently celebrating and fasting in the month of Ramadan. For today's episode, especially it being the month of Ramadan, I want to dive into self-reflection in terms of knowing where you're at in your present life and knowing if you are on the right path. Ramadan itself, first of all, is the month where Muslims worldwide are focused on fasting, prayer, community services, and self-reflection. It's a great month to really tune into your spiritual self, your spiritual being, and really self-reflect and understand the concept of discipline and self-control. Hence, we have the concept of fasting from sunrise till sunset, and you have to abstain from drinking, smoking, eating, focus on praying, meditating, reflecting, charity. And I think it is a great month to take this opportunity to really self-reflect and understand where you're at on your current path and if you're going onto the right path for your life. And I wanted to really go into signs and things that are happening in your life that show you that you're on the right path. I feel like as someone who, tries to self-reflect a lot and is also, doing different things and, just like anyone else, I've gone through certain experiences. You can kind of understand if you are really on the right path to something, be it your job, your spouse, your just your lifestyle in general and how you really feel on the inside. And of course, this applies to everybody. So I wanted to today dive into, ways you can tell you're on the right path and how to really listen to your body, to your soul, listen to yourself and trust your intuition and the way your body reacts to your environment. So how can you tell you're on the right path? Now, I'm just saying this based off of my personal experience and what I've been through. I've been through things where I know wasn't good for me, and I know how my body felt, how my mind felt, how I felt consciously, subconsciously in a situation like that versus being in a situation where I know, hey, I am on the right path. This is fulfilling me. And there are ways that you can tell if you are on the right path and you're doing something that is meant for you or is good for you, right? You may not be someone who, follows a certain faith or believe in destiny, but you can definitely know when something is good for you, whatever you're doing in your life. I think our body has a great way of telling us something before we even know it. And we really have to understand how our body works and how our mind works, and understanding what you need to do in order to make your life better for yourself, or changing your ways, or continue on to the path that is good for you and it's good for your body and mind. I believe a great way that you can tell that you're on the right path is if you do some self reflection and kind of look into how your life has evolved over the last maybe 2 years, 3 years, even the last year, right? And see if there has been some growth on your end, right? Like, how have you evolved as a person? Did you take on a new hobby? Are you working on your health, right? You want to look back and basically backtrack and see how you are doing now versus before and see if you've improved, right? So that's a great way to basically track on your progress and how you're doing. And, you know, maybe you're not as healthy as you were the year before, but it's a great way to self reflect and let yourself know, hey, like, I really need to take a step back, focus on my diet, focus on my health, do some exercises, and get right back on track. So, one of the great ways that you can tell if you're on the right path or not is the willingness to self reflect and kind of look back and see, how you were before versus now, and be able to show this indication of having a growth mindset. So that's one of the ways that I can tell that I am on the right path. And maybe I'm not doing so great like at this time, but at least I know, hey, I'm aware that, hey, I'm not doing as well as I was last year. So let me make up for it and do what it takes to get right back on track. Another way that I can tell if something is meant for me or having something in my life is actually good for me is if it brings me not only peace, but purpose. If I have a sense of purpose in my life and I feel good and I feel at peace, then nothing in the world can stop me. And no matter what anyone says, how they live their life, whatever it may be, if you are at peace with yourself and you feel good and you go to bed at night feeling good and feeling fulfilled, that's how you know you're on the right path. So no one is able to make that determination for you except yourself. So I think it's very important to have a sense of peace in your life with the people around you, with yourself. That's also really important. And having the sense of purpose in your life that I want to be a better person. I want to, I don't know, help others. I want to be there for my family and be a good mother, be a good wife, whatever it may be that brings you purpose in life. That's how you know that you're striving for something, you're going towards something that makes you happy, right? And it brings you a sense of peace. Also, joy and fulfillment is so important in knowing if you're on the right path, right? If it's bringing you like genuine happiness and you are feeling satisfied, for the most part in your day to day life, I believe you are on the right path. So spending time with your significant other brings you joy, brings you peace. Spending time with your family, even the friends that you hang around with, right? Like if you hang out with them and you don't feel drained and you feel great and it brings you fulfillment and joy and it uplifts your energy, that is a great way to know if you're on the right path. So anything where it makes you feel uneasy or drained or, basically just at unease with yourself and you don't feel as great mentally, maybe even physically, you just know that, hey, I need to reevaluate this situation or this person and take the steps needed to make sure that you get right back on track, right? So the concept of feeling joy and fulfillment with your environment, the people around you, and within yourself, I think is a huge indication of being on the right path or basically being aligned or staying aligned with yourself and your values and your beliefs. Another way that you can tell that you are on the right path or you're aligned with yourself is when you are willing to show compassion and love to others. You're not someone that comes from a place of bitterness or envy or jealousy. You are genuinely happy for others. You're kind. And that shows in itself a sense of peace. And it shows that you are happy with yourself and with your life. So I feel like when you're more of somebody that is on the right path, you are willing to be kind to others, show compassion, show love, show grace. And that doesn't necessarily mean being a people pleaser, but it just means that you're civil, you're kind, and you don't go into a situation where you have the mindset of feeling bitter or hurt or jealous or envious. I think this is really important to know that it's a way of knowing like either something's missing in your life or you're doing something that isn't bringing you joy or happiness, or maybe you're looking for something that you feel like needs to fulfill you and give you purpose, right? Because then you wouldn't be focused on these other things that don't make you happy. Also, it's very obvious the way you present yourself to others, the way you interact with them, your mannerisms, things of that sort. It's very obvious how you can come off to someone if you're projecting something to someone, or you're projecting onto someone, and, for instance, if you're meeting somebody that is always talking down on somebody or is always cracking jokes and it's not necessarily funny, or they always have something to say about somebody, you kind of think to yourself, like, I wish this person finds a way to fulfill themselves and find happiness, because then they won't find a reason to take down someone else. Right. So I think being really mindful of yourself and the way you're perceived to others in terms of how you interact with them and showing kindness and compassion is really important. It's a huge indication of knowing if you're on the right path and if you're happy with yourself in your life. Another way that you can tell if something is for you is, for instance, if you got offered a job opportunity or you're thinking about starting a business, right? Like you're about to move on to the next step. You have this sense of enthusiasm about it, and you feel really motivated and driven to do it. It's not, you don't feel like it's draining you. You could be a little scared and have a little bit of fear, but when you are overcoming challenges, you are willing to have that mindset that, hey, I'm willing to overcome this challenge. I feel like it's making me more excited than having doubts. And that's how you know that something is for you, because it's giving you the motivation and the drive to move forward, right? It's doing something to your body, like something's happening in your body where it's like, hey, like go for it. I think this is for you. Give it a shot. And I think that's a great way to know if you're on the right path. And keep in mind that when you do something, you won't necessarily, for the most part, especially people who, start on their career path or start a business, you don't always just are able to figure it out immediately, right? You can be failing a lot at the beginning, but that helps you recognize where you need to grow. And if it's something that you want to continue doing or make tweaks at, whatever you're doing. So for instance, like a career opportunity, a business, knowing that, hey, like this might be a setback, but I want to continue doing this. I'm so driven and motivated to make changes and move on with this process. I think is a great way of knowing that you're on the right path. I would also say that knowing you're on the right path is when you're willing to show gratitude and be thankful for what you have and the journey that you're on in your life is very important, right? And having this sense of self-awareness and being aware of yourself and who and what is around you, and trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, picking up the patterns, right? Knowing when something is good for you, when something's not good for you. Your body can sense these things. I think being really in tune with your body and your mind, I think is really important to know if you are on the right path. It all comes down to how you feel about yourself and everything around you. Again, if you are not on your right path or you know something's not for you, I think it's hard to be thankful for things. You know, I feel like when you're naturally feeling good about things, you tend to be more thankful and appreciative of everything around you. Just something minor as it's a beautiful day outside, the sun is shining bright, or I'm happy that I was able to sleep 8 hours last night, or something like that, right? I feel like if you're in a good mindset and mental state, you're willing to be appreciative of things and are grateful of things. So I think that's a great way to also know that you are on the right path. I feel like these are the ways or reasons that you can tell that you are in tune and aligned with yourself and that you're quote unquote on the right path. I feel like when you wake up looking forward to tomorrow, having some joy and peace in your life, having a sense of purpose, fulfillment, and gratitude towards life is a great way to tell that you're doing okay in life and that you are on the right path. Thank you so much for listening in today. I am so grateful for all the support and feedback I've been getting. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to Sonia Space and follow me on Instagram for sneak peeks on upcoming episodes as well as other inspirational content. I hope your day goes well and I've left you feeling inspired. Bye-bye.